The room was alive with laughter, clinking glasses, and the soft hum of conversation. Golden light from the chandeliers bathed the guests in a warm glow. It was my 28th birthday party, hosted at my parents' sprawling estate. But as I stood there, champagne in hand, I felt a cold knot tighten in my stomach. My sister, Ella, stood at the center of the room, her crystal flute raised high. She was radiant, as always, her designer dress catching the light like a star. She had always been the golden child, the one who could do no wrong. And tonight, she was about to deliver a performance that would change everything. "I have an announcement," she said, her voice cutting through the noise like a knife. The room fell silent. All eyes turned to her. My parents, Robert and Margaret Sutton, stood nearby, their faces glowing with pride. My father, the man who had built a boutique hotel empire from scratch, avoided my gaze. My mother, ever the enabler, clapped her hands together in anticipation. "Dad gave me your house as a gift," Ella declared, her tone dripping with faux sweetness. The room erupted in applause. My heart pounded in my chest, but I kept my face calm, my smile steady. "Perfect," I said, my voice cutting through the noise. The word hung in the air, sharp and deliberate. My family didn't notice the edge in my voice, but I saw the flicker of confusion in Ella's eyes. She had expected me to react differently, perhaps with anger, or tears, or stunned silence. But I had known this was coming. "Then you should all know," I continued, my voice steady. "When I pulled out the documents for the family business, my father nearly fainted." The room grew quiet again, the applause fading into an uneasy silence. "My name is Iris Sutton. I'm 28 years old, and I will never forget the day my family tried to take everything from me. Without realizing that, I had already secured my future. Iris, you have to understand this business requires sacrifices." My father would remind me whenever. I had to cancel plans with friends to stay, late reviewing contracts. Meanwhile, Ella burned through our family's money without a second thought. But Ella never did. At 25, she still lived in our parents' house, with no real job beyond her social media posts, while I was managing 3 of our most successful hotels, working 12-hour days. She was busy posting selfies from her latest European getaway. One day, he stepped into my office and shut the door behind him. "Iris," he said, his tone serious, "I've been reviewing the accounts from the past 5 years. Did you know your sister has spent over $2 million of company funds?" My world came to a halt. "What?" He laid several documents on my desk. Travel expenses, designer clothes, lavish parties. Everything was meticulously listed under marketing expenses. "She claims she's the brand's social media image," Liam explained. That night, I confronted my father. His response left me cold. "I know, Iris. I approve those expenses. I had always been the responsible daughter, the one who put in the work." While Ella lived her life like a perpetual vacation, I was at the office, working long hours to help run the family business. Our father, Robert Sutton, had built a boutique hotel empire from the ground up, and I had been learning the business since I was 16. "Your sister is young, let her enjoy life," my mother would say, defending her. "She'll mature eventually." Everything changed 6 months ago when I met Liam, our new financial advisor. He was sharp, honest, and quick to notice something troubling in our company's financial records. One day, he stepped into my office and shut the door behind him. "Iris," he said, his tone serious, "I've been reviewing the accounts from the past 5 years. Did you know your sister has spent over $2 million of company funds?" My world came to a halt. "What?" He laid several documents on my desk. Travel expenses, designer clothes, lavish parties. Everything was meticulously listed under marketing expenses. "She claims she's the brand's social media image," Liam explained. That night, I confronted my father. His response left me cold. "I know, Iris. I approve those expenses." My father removed his glasses and let out a slow sigh. "Look, you have your way of contributing to the company, and she has hers." That conversation opened my eyes. For years, I had worked tirelessly, hoping to earn my father's approval. But the truth was, I never would. As it turned out, I was the majority shareholder in the company. Years ago, my father had structured ownership that way for tax purposes, never expecting that I would one day learn how to leverage that power. "You need to protect yourself," Liam advised. "Your family is treating the company like their personal piggy bank." But that wasn't the worst of it. He warned me that my father was preparing to transfer significant assets, including my own home. They're drafting documents to transfer the house to Ella. He said, my house? The one I bought with my own money. Technically, you bought it with your company's salary. They argue that it was a corporate gift and can be reassigned. That night, I couldn't sleep. The home I had worked so hard for, the one place I had built to escape my toxic family, could be taken away with a simple signature. But Liam and I had a plan. During the toast, Ella stood up, holding a crystal champagne flute that probably cost $500. $2 million in personal spending? Are you serious? Liam became my confidant. Over the next few months, we quietly documented every irregularity, every questionable decision, every unnecessary expenditure. He also helped me understand something I had overlooked: my rights. The moment of truth came on my 28th birthday. My family threw a lavish party at our parents' estate. Everyone was there: my parents, Ella, aunts, uncles, cousins, even business partners. I have a special announcement, she said, her bright smile beaming at the crowd. My father has given me the most incredible gift: Iris's house. The room went silent for a brief moment before the applause began. My mother was grinning with pride. My father avoided my gaze. Isn't it wonderful? Ella continued. Since Iris is always at the office, she doesn't really need such a big house. I'll put it to better use. I stood up slowly. My heart was pounding, but my mind was clear. You're right, Ella. I am too busy at the office, I said, reaching into my handbag and pulling out a folder. And since we're making announcements, I have one of my own. The room fell silent as I opened the folder. All eyes were on me. Ella was still smiling, completely unaware of what was coming. This was just another corporate formality, I said, my voice firm and professional. Something routine, insignificant. As CEO and majority shareholder of our boutique hotel company, I have a few important updates. I paused, letting the weight of my words sink in. First, effective immediately, all personal expenses will require board approval, not just the president's signature. Ella's smile wavered. My father straightened in his chair. Second, I have initiated a full audit of the company's financial records for the past 5 years, I continued, locking eyes with my sister. That includes all marketing expenditures related to social media. Iris, my father interrupted, his voice tense. This isn't the time or place, isn't it? I shot back. Didn't you just use my birthday party to announce that you were giving my house to Ella? I turned to the guests, our extended family, business partners, and board members. A house I bought with my own salary after years of hard work, I said, my voice rising. From the other side of the room, Liam stood up and handed out folders to the board members who were present. Inside these folders, I announced, you will find evidence of corporate fund misappropriation totaling more than $2 million. Hashtag 00:00:32. 00:00:34. Murmurs rippled through the crowd as I continued. Personal expenses disguised as marketing costs. Luxury vacations falsely reported as business trips. Designer shopping sprees categorized as market research. Ella turned pale. This is ridiculous, she sputtered. Dad approved all of those expenses. I am the brand's image. The brand's image, I echoed, pressing a button on the room's presentation screen. A slideshow of Ella's Instagram posts appeared. So let's take a look. Parties in Ibiza, marketing for family-friendly hotels. Designer handbags, market research. My mother shot to her feet, her face red with anger. Iris, how dare you humiliate your sister like this? I met her gaze, unflinching. Humiliate her the way you tried to humiliate me by taking my house on my own birthday. My father stepped in, trying to regain control. This is a family matter, he said, his voice edged with authority. I ask all non-family members to leave. I'm afraid that's not possible, Liam interrupted, now fully in his role as our financial advisor. Since this involves potential corporate fraud, the board members have both the right and the obligation to be present. The next few minutes were pure chaos. Ella was crying, insisting it was all a misunderstanding. My mother was shouting about family loyalty. My father was desperately trying to calm the board members, who were flipping through documents with increasing concern. When the noise finally died down, I cleared my throat. There's more, I said, pulling out another set of documents. As CEO and majority shareholder, I have made some executive decisions. The room fell silent once more, the tension palpable. Effective immediately, I began. My father, Robert Sutton, will no longer serve as president of the company. His role will be transitioned to an advisory position, with no decision-making authority. My father's face turned ashen. He opened his mouth to protest, but I held up a hand to silence him. Second, I continued, my sister, Ella Sutton, will no longer be associated with the company in any capacity. Her role as the so-called brand image is terminated, and all future marketing efforts will be handled by a professional team. Ella's tears turned to anger. You can't do this, she screamed. I can't, I said, my voice steady. And I will. The fallout was swift and brutal. The board members, though initially shocked, quickly came to understand the necessity of my actions. My father, though resistant, eventually accepted his new role. My mother, though hurt, began to see the truth of what had been happening. As for Ella, she was forced to confront the consequences of her actions. Without the company's funds to support her lavish lifestyle, she was left to fend for herself. And as for me, I found a new sense of purpose and confidence. I had proven to myself, and to everyone else, that I was capable of leading the company with integrity and strength. The road ahead was still long, but I was ready to face it head on.